Hello viewers, welcome to Joy's Kitchen. I hope you are all doing very good. Today I'm going to show you a very unique rice recipe. We call it light spiced bhuna khichuri or beef khichuri. Khichuri is kind of like a mixture of lentil and rice together, but in this one I'm going to add a little bit of beef as well. This is quite famous in Bangladesh. We call it bhuna khichuri, but this one is light spiced. That's why I'm not going to call it bhuna khichuri, but anyway, that's going to be so flavorful and very yummy to eat. And I'm not going to use too many spices, but some particular spices which going to make my khichuri very delicious. So stay with me and enjoy the recipe. So at first, in a large pot, I took around 7 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Because my meat is not very oily, I used lean beef. That's why I'm adding quite a lot of vegetable oil here. So when my oil is hot, I added 8 medium-sized onion, finely chopped. If you are adding large onion, you need maybe 4, because my onions are not very big. That's why I needed 8 of them. And it's kind of like roughly chopped, and I'm gonna fry them like 2 minutes, not more than 2 minutes, because I don't need to make them too golden brown. I took here 1 kilo lean beef. This beef is particularly without fat. You can see it's just solid beef, but you can take a beef with fat. It's totally up to you. I'm trying to make it a little bit healthy, that's it. So after 2 minutes, my onions are quite soft now, you can see. And now I'm gonna add my beef here. So, which I was saying, my beef is really solid. I didn't add too much of fatty beef because I'm trying to eat a little bit healthy. But trust me, if you add a little bit fatty beef, that's gonna make your khichuri more delicious. But it's totally up to you. So yeah. So now I'm gonna fry my beef and onion together at least 3 to 4 minutes before I add any kind of other spices. So after 3 minutes of frying, you can see my beef already changed their color, because my beef, as I said, this is quite soft kind of meat. I didn't add the fatty beef. That's gonna cook really quicker. And now I'm gonna add around 1.5 big tablespoon. I'm adding actually a small. I'm using small teaspoon, but the amount is I'm adding 1.5 tablespoon of ginger paste. If you are using a tablespoon, that's going to be easier for you. And 2 tablespoons of garlic paste. So half teaspoon more garlic paste than ginger paste. So 1.5 tablespoon of ginger paste and 2 tablespoons of garlic paste. This khichuri is, trust me, is so good. This is kind of like a 1-pot rice meal and is so yummy. And this is really light spiced. I'm not using too many spices here. So now I'm gonna fry this beef and onion after adding my ginger garlic paste another 3 to 4 minutes. So after another 3 minutes of cooking, you can see my beef already changed their color totally, because as I said. And now I'm gonna add some whole garam masala, which I'm gonna use actually 4 to 5 bay leaf, because I'm using really small bay leaf. That's why I'm using that much. But if it's big bay leaf, use just 2 or 3. Then some 3 to 4 stick of cinnamon, 3 to 4 clove, and 2 to 3 cardamom. It's just basic garam masala, what we use when we cook our meat. Bay leaf, cardamom, cinnamon, and clove. So I'm using one by one. Oh, already my meat is smelling so good. And this particular khichuri, I'm not using too much spice. There is 2 kind of beef bhuna khichuri in our country, which is really spiced one and lightly spiced one. That one I'm cooking lightly spiced one. But there is another one which is more delicious and more spicy and more meat we use. And yeah, I'm gonna show you another day how I cook the other one. But this is like the very basic and easy one. So now I'm gonna fry my meat after using these whole spices for another 2 to 3 minutes. So you can see still I'm frying my meat and I didn't add any water. Still I'm cooking my meat. It is on kosha process. So now I'm gonna use some powdered spice, obviously, to cook my meat. So I'm adding around 2 teaspoons of turmeric powder, or 1 tablespoon of turmeric powder if you are using tablespoon. because I'm not as I said, it's very light spiced, that's why I'm not gonna add too much of spices here. Just they're gonna give really nice kind of flavor and color. Now I'm adding 2 teaspoons of red chili powder. This red chili powder not gonna give any spice, that's gonna give really nice kind of flavor and a little bit of color. That's it. 2 teaspoons of roasted cumin seed powder. So every all spices 2 teaspoons to 2 teaspoons. I'm not adding any coriander powder here. And I'm gonna add around 1.5 teaspoons of mace powder. There is 1 nutmeg, there is 1 mace. I'm not using any nutmeg, I'm just using mace powder. If you don't find mace powder, that's fine. You can add a little bit of nutmeg powder, but I prefer mace powder than nutmeg powder in my beef khichuri. So, and I'm adding around 1.5 teaspoons of it. And now I'm gonna cook my beef after adding all those spices for another 2 to 3 minutes. So after 3 minutes of cooking, you can see my meats already released quite a lot of water, and you can see the oil came up. And as I said, my meat is not very oily, so that's why I added quite a lot of oil, because I have to cook my rice as well here. So now I'm gonna add around 4 to 5 green chili here, because as I said, I didn't add too much of red chili powder, but I need a little bit of spices. So this green chili gonna give really good flavor, and at the same time a little bit of heat as well. So now I'm gonna cook my beef a little bit more. So you can see my beef already done. You can see that they changed the color, and the color of the curry is so good already. Oh, the flavor from the green chili and all the spices together, so good. At the same time, I actually dry roasted around half cup of moong dal. For this particular bhuna khichuri or beef khichuri, we use this kind of dal, which is moong dal, which is quite available in any kind of grocery shops, and everyone know what moong dal is. So, and I dry roasted it for 3 to 4 minutes. You can see they change a little bit of the color. So the point is, you have to dry roast your lentil before you add in your bhuna khichuri. Otherwise, they're not gonna give the proper flavor. So you have to dry roast it. It's not gonna take more than 2 to 3 minutes. So now my meat is ready, and now I'm adding all my pre-dry roasted moong lentil. I washed it. After I roasted, I washed it. So now I'm gonna cook my lentil and my meat together at least 6 to 7 minutes, because my lentil gonna take a little bit longer than the rice. That's why I'm gonna cook it first, and then I'm gonna add the rice. So I'm gonna cook it for at least 3 to 4 minutes. So I've been cooking my lentil and my meat for 4 minutes. You can see already my lentils are quite chubby now, so they are cooking. At the same time, I'm adding 1 handful of chopped coriander leaf. Trust me, this chopped coriander gonna give a so good flavor in your final khichuri. So if you are following my recipe, don't forget to add around 1 handful of chopped coriander in this time. So now I'm gonna cook my lentil for another 2 minutes. So you can see my meat and my lentil is almost done. My lentil is half done. My meat is almost full done, because it's quite solid meat. And that's the time I'm gonna add around 1.5 cup of basmati rice. I'm actually using basmati rice for this khichuri, but if you have pilau rice or Asian pilau rice in your home, just use it, because pilau rice also goes really good in this kind of khichuri. But I don't have, that's why I'm adding basmati rice. But exactly at the same way, basmati also works like very nicely. There is no problem. So, and I washed my basmati rice before, and now it's just I'm mixing everything together. You can see my meats, my lentils. It's so easy. It's nothing complicated in this dish. It's as long as you have all the spices and meats and everything, and you know when you have to use what, that's it. Your dish is done. So now I'm gonna mix them. So you can see my rice and lentils, everything is mixed properly. Now I'm adding around another half handful of chopped coriander leaf and 3 more green chili. That's just because I want to give some fresh flavor. That's why I'm using this, adding this coriander leaf and the chili at the end. So yeah. So now I'm gonna add water because my rice is mixed up properly with the spices and with meats. So this is the time I'm gonna add water to cook my rice properly, and I'm adding, for 1.5 cup of rice, I'm adding 2.5 cup of boiling water. That's the amount I follow, but if you are already better than me, just follow your way, you know. So for 1.5 cup of rice, I'm just adding 2.5 cup of boiling water. So now I'm gonna mix my water and I'm gonna spread it everywhere in my pot. So after adding the water, I'm not covering the pot immediately. I'm just trying to stir my rice little bit, just to distribute all the salt and everything together, like everywhere. So don't cover your pot after adding the water immediately. Just stir your rice little bit, like maybe for 1 minute or half minute, and then cover your pot. So you can see it's quite boiled now, and now I'm covering my pot and I'm gonna cook my rice just like that around 7 to 8 minutes. So after around 8 minutes, now I'm gonna uncover my pot. Oh, look at that, my rice soaked all the water, and look at them, how long they are, how fluffy they are. I show you. There's still little bit of water at the bottom, very little. I'm gonna steam it soon, but I'm just showing you that how the water was so perfect when I said for 1.5 cup of rice, 2.5 cup of boiling water. So every time it comes out like that, it's so good. And my lentils are cooked properly. They are not mushy. My lentils are not mushy. You can see they still have their shape, but at the same time they are very nicely cooked. My meats are soft as well. So now I'm gonna cover my pot again. You can see I make kind of like a round shape. I'm gonna steam that little bit longer. So now I'm gonna cover my pot and cook it for another 6 minutes. So after 6 minutes, you can see now my rice is properly done. Now I can show you, this is like 100% done rice. Oh, look at them, and the smell, oh my god, it's so good. Look at them, my lentils are still, they have their shape, they didn't broke totally, and rice are perfectly fluffy. Oh, it's so yummy and so good. Just follow my recipe and cook it like that. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love this dish. Look at them, how good it looks. So here you go, guys. This is my lightly spiced beef khichuri is ready for you. And as you noticed, that was not very complicated dish. It was quite easy and quite quick as well. So I hope you're gonna follow my recipe and you're gonna cook this dish and enjoy with your family. And at the same time, don't forget to like and subscribe my channel and follow my recipes and share my recipes with your friends, family and neighbors. And I hope you're gonna make this dish and enjoy with your whole family in your dining table. Thank you. Bye bye.